In my studio is Gary Stein. He is running for Congress in the second Congressional District, and he is my guest in studio. Going on here, and I have your information here on the website, but I think it's better for you to go ahead and tell people about who you are and what's going on rather than me reading off of this.
Well, I thought we might change things around here a little bit and work from last going backwards. And as of today, Mr. Lobiano, I think, has about 4 endorsements, so I'm ready to just give a post-mortem on the whole election. Then maybe we can get back to why I ran 2 years ago as an independent.
Okay.
And this year, switch parties from Republican to Democrat to challenge him. But the endorsements are in, and in my opinion, the fix is in, because it's really, the endorsements don't reflect what happened at these editorial board meetings. And you could sit there and describe how you feel about the congressman, and they're pretty much nodding their head in agreement. I mean, you could start with term limits, for one. And then the editorials come out, and they just cannot get around the fact that they have to endorse them because of economics, business economics. It dictates that they endorse them, basically.
In this article here on the Courier Post, it indicates that
beautiful, yeah,
that they indicate here that it is disappointing that the Democrat Party chose not to field a candidate in the race. But you are a Democrat. You're running as a Democrat.
No, I was a Republican up to March.
Okay.
That's why this is so fascinating.
So what are they?
I knew no one was going to challenge. I knew nobody was going to step up.
So
and there's every reason to step up, because, can I be frank?
Oh.
I think Mr. Lobiano is an abomination, and all the ammo is out there, but this guy has entrenched himself, and he's figured out so well how to please people, please all sides all the time. He's like a chameleon. And the interesting thing is, I'm always telling people I voted for him 6 times. There's no need to be embarrassed when you hear me, if you're going to listen, tell us the things I'm telling them. I wasn't paying close attention either. I'm just as guilty as everybody else. And to have a gadfly like me, a wise guy, come along, change parties to Democrat. I'm not, and really, Richard, I'm not an extroverted really type guy. I'm basically a shy guy. I love politics and been following this stuff since I'm a kid.
Yeah.
And I can get animated when I'm talking about this or Frank Lobiano. I ran for governor last year. You probably didn't know that. I put up a website saying I'm going to get 0.0001% of the vote. I said I pretty much like Chris Christie. And I said, you got 2 qualified candidates. I mean, there's a good choice there, Corzine or Christie. But it was really just a way of keeping my name out there for this run. Because what I saw 2 years ago, when I ran against Mr. Lobiano, like Peter did, Peter's here in the studio, Peter Boyce, he's a friend of mine. We don't agree on a lot of stuff, especially, there's quite a few things we disagree on, but we're good friends, and we can laugh about this. But I was exposed to Mr. Lobiano for the first time 2 years ago. And I uncovered something that the Courier Post, you're reading from their editorial, they're aware of this, and it's serious. It's of a serious nature. It's fraud, in my opinion, the way Mr. Lobiano conducted himself in 2008. Certain people in Atlantic County, where I live, and sometimes I'm on talk radio there, they don't want to hear nothing about this. It's see no evil, hear no evil, tell no evil. But Mr. Lobiano, I'll give it to you real quick. Mr. Lobiano was against the troop surge in 2007. Nobody knows that. They don't know that because he didn't vote on the troop surge. He had to go to attend his father-in-law's funeral. The following year, 2008, when he was facing another Democrat, a lifelong Democrat, a Democrat with money, a Democrat who could wage a campaign, and in a year when Democrats were doing well in the polls, Obama got in naturally, the Democrat asked Mr. Lobiano why he missed the troop surge vote. And Mr. Lobiano pretended, after the election, I'm toast. Mr. Lobiano pretended to have a meltdown and said, I could almost quote it, he says, Mr. Kurkowski, I don't know what your priorities are in life, but mine are with my family. And I had to attend a funeral of my father-in-law. If that's not something or other, if that's not good enough, if I don't meet your standards, something or other, then I'm sorry. It just bushwhacked Dave Kurkowski. It had nothing to do with anything. But and he got all emotional. and what he was doing was just saying, hands off, don't visit this issue. And I was at this debate. I wasn't invited. Peter and I weren't invited to that debate. It was the second debate. It was just those two. Now, a few months ago, I find out that this is all up on the internet on the Stockton College website. So I'm watching this again, and I'm looking for that one part where he has that meltdown. He also said he gave a 5-minute statement on the floor of the House. And that's what Mr. Lobiando does. He does this all the time. He goes too far. He says too much. He should have just left. He shouldn't have mentioned that, because you could find that. So I've since found the debate, and I found the 5-minute statement in the well of the House. He was against the troop surge. He spends 4 minutes and 45 seconds talking about how he supports the troops. About 10 seconds on, well, I do not support the president's policy. That was George Bush. In 2007, it was a question of whether we were going to leave Iraq or stay. It would have been a courageous position of Lobiando's as a Republican to have said, let's cut our losses, no more lives. But now I'm watching this debate on the Stockton channel, and over again, Mr. Lobiando is invoking the name of Robert Gates and General Petraeus, giving everyone at that debate the impression that he was for the troop surge. And I'm seeing this. And I brought this up at the Courier Post, and I'm bringing this up everywhere I can, saying, you basically threw a monkey wrench into the whole election 2 years ago by pretending you were for the troop surge when you were against. The fact that you pulled that stunt at the debate calls into question his character this year, because there's votes coming up, and the question is whether he'll do or say anything to get elected. So, where were we?
No, you're pointing out one of his weaknesses, and that is, I believe, when it comes to certain real crucial issues.
Yeah, cap and trade, things like that. So there's an MO with the guy, a congressman, Congressman Lobiando. I don't want to be respectful.
Sure. Tell me some of the other things that you're worried about. Like, for example, one of my real issues that I've been dealing with ever since I've been on the air is the U.S. national debt clock.
Mm-hmm.
And I monitor it every day. In fact, I haven't told anybody today, but it's $13,683 billion. And each and every day we borrow $4.17 billion just to get by. What are some of the issues with regard to the spending, and what are we dealing with as far as the records of the congressman at that point?
Well, he says he's against wasteful spending, and that's about as far as he goes. And he says, well, we got to rein in the waste in Washington. Does he go any further than that? No, he says he was against the bailouts of Wall Street. He always calls it. I'll get to what I ought to just cut myself short here and talk about what I would do.
Go ahead.
I say that it's right there on my website, on the homepage. The Courier Post could have picked up on this. I say Washington got us into this mess. And I said, it's up to us to get us out. And I throw this giant idea in the pot. And I say, let's eliminate, and this is in this Courier Post article you're reading, but they left out the critical part. I say, let's have a national sales tax. In exchange for the national sales tax, eliminate the federal income tax, the state sales tax, the payroll tax, every conceivable tax. Have one national sales tax. Figure out what the amount would be, and have it. And I said, we could have the money pouring into Washington if we eliminate cash. I say have a government debit card. Anytime I get into this, I always say this is a far-fetched idea, but I'm just tweaking people down there. I'm saying, you got us into this mess. You have no ideas for getting us out. Here's the most giant idea you're going to ever hear. Now the Courier Post gets a hold of that and says I'm a left-wing wacko, basically. And you ever hear this guy? I'm a conservative. I'm a fiscal conservative. And this is what they're from talking to Peter on the outside, outside the studio here, they're doing the same thing to him. They're selectively picking stuff out about us and misrepresenting our positions in order to endorse Mr. Lobiando. But I said if you eliminated cash, I said everyone, either you'd have no more underground economy and you're collecting this national sales tax. I said everybody would be part of the system then. I said maybe we could get national health insurance. I said everyone would be paying a tax every time they bought something, walked into Wawa and bought a soda, including kids. I said at the Courier Post, I said this is a terrible regressive tax, but I said maybe that's what it takes, to get their economy moving, and the poor can move up the economic ladder. I said the rich will feel that everyone's paying for their fair share, and you could maybe get single payer, which I'm for. That's my one lefto idea. I think there should be single payer health care. Everybody should have health care. on the home page of my website, I say, throw this all out the window if the government doesn't want to cut itself back drastically for what we're willing to give up, which is our privacy. If we had some kind of government debit card to collect this tax, the government would know everything we're doing then. But I mean, I don't expect this. I say right on my website, I said I'm not being elected to Nancy Pelosi's job, the Treasury Secretary or President of the United States. What could a freshman congressman do to create jobs? But they take everything out of context because they want to endorse Franco Biondo. They're cornered. They have no way out. They have no way out. I suggested they just endorse nobody.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Gary Stein. He is running for Congress here in southern New Jersey, and if you happen to have any questions or thoughts or comments you would like to add, you're welcome to give us a call at 765-1240, 765-1240. Mr. Stein, I've got to take a break for our sponsors.